Previously, we escaped a huge storm by hiding in a cave. That wasn't on the maps. We found a giant wall of ice inside. But behind it we found something impossible. Proved that someone had been here before us. We weren't the first. That single thought was all I could hear. Louder even than the storm outside. Suddenly, the mission and our survival didn't seem important anymore. The only thing that mattered was what we found behind that ice. Commander was speechless. It was the first time I'd ever seen him completely stunned. Not by a problem he had to solve, but by an answer he never expected to find. So we did the only thing we could do. We worked. In a way, the storm gave us time we didn't realize we needed. We recorded everything, every symbol, every line, every impossible shape. My scanner couldn't even identify the metal in the carvings. It was a material completely unknown to science. The rock around it was billions of years old. But the carvings themselves felt ageless. It was like finding proof of something that shouldn't exist. With every image we recorded, the importance of our discovery felt heavier. This wasn't just evidence of ancient germs. This was someone else's history. Once we had all the data, the commander looked at me. I knew what he was thinking before he spoke. We have to send this. It was his new mission, his new impossible goal. He argued we should use every last bit of our emergency power. Risk everything, just for the chance to send one single, clear picture back to Earth. Just one picture. He said the discovery was more important than our lives. And maybe he was right. Maybe finding this is worth more than 2 people. But my job, my only purpose, was to keep us alive. I had to tell him no. I showed him the data, sending one signal that Strong would use all our power, leaving us with nothing. We'd be choosing to die for a ghost. I told him it was a risk we couldn't afford to take. It was simple. He was a commander focused on his legacy, and I was a scientist who just wanted to survive the night. The air between us was thick and cold. Our argument was left hanging with no solution. And then a chime came from my wrist display. Good news for a change. The lander's outside sensors showed the storm's wind speeds were dropping fast. The worst of it was over. We were going to make it out of the cave. I remember actually smiling. We could get back to the lander and its main power. We didn't have to make that terrible choice right away. For a moment, it felt like we were saved. And that's when the floor of the cave just dropped. It was a single violent jolt, as if the whole planet had been hit from underneath. We heard a horrible grinding roar of rock tearing apart all around us. We were thrown against the wall and our helmet lights flickered wildly. The air instantly filled with thick, choking dust, making it impossible to see. It lasted for maybe 20 seconds, but it felt like an eternity. When the shaking finally stopped and the dust began to clear, we pointed our lights toward the entrance. But the entrance was gone. In its place was just a solid wall of newly fallen rock. The storm was over, but we were buried alive. And then I saw it on my wrist display. It had received one last signal from the lander's outside sensors, right before the dust storm cut us off. It wasn't about the weather. It was an automatic damage report. The report was from the MAV, our ascent vehicle, the ship meant to take us home, our only way off this planet. The alert was simple: a hull breach. Caged, buried alive under tons of rock. And the only thing worse than being trapped on Mars is knowing your only way home is broken and slowly dying on the surface above. There's only one part left. You want to see how our story ends. And if we survive, please like this video and subscribe. The final episode will be released once we get 100 likes on this one. Thanks for watching.